Welcome to Insegna Booksellers and TomPadula live on Facebook for the third lesson. Today is actually Melbourne Cup Day, and I thought, no, I'm not going to miss out. The teaching of Italian and learning Italian and other languages are very important, so we don't want to break up the pattern. So this is the third lesson, and I've been thinking about the last two lessons, and I thought these are free lessons, of course, for students for the language and people who already speak the language and want to improve the grammatical part of it. I've begun at the beginning, so it's very important to listen to the other 2 hours before this one in order to catch up. So you can always catch up because I'll just keep on going with the presentations. Now, we said last time that I would start at 11:30 exactly, and that's what I'm doing. So today's program, basically, I'm going to revise the noun, the article, and the adjectives. The three of them are the first 3 parts of speech, and they sort of gel together very well. And then that's la grammatica, but in terms of la pratica, I'm going to use the 2 songs, Lettera a Pinocchio and Una spina e una rosa, the actual words in there. So I'm going to take the words out of there and show you how the grammar will help you understand what's going on with the words in the songs, or anywhere else for that matter. Because as I said before, la pratica batte la grammatica, but of course, you need both, and that's important. La pratica is more important. So, if you want to speak the language, if you want to read it, if you want to be artistic with it, the writing songs and poetry, if you want to be a writer, anything to do with writing or speaking, an actual knowledge of the grammar in whatever language helps you with that language. So because here at Insegna Booksellers, I basically have a huge number of Italian books, and which I've put online or insegna.com, and also 20 other languages, including English. So this is the work that I propose to do from here to you. Now, I would like you, if you're following me right now, if you want to learn Italian, please send me an email to TomPadulaTV@gmail.com and say, Tom, I'm interested in your lesson, in your free lessons, and that way I know who you are, and then we can communicate with each other by you asking me questions occasionally if you think that's good for you. So if you want to follow what I do and you want to improve your Italian or learn it from scratch, it doesn't matter how far a beginner you are or how far advanced you are, these lessons are excellent because they will deal with the grammar part. The grammar part, as we move along, it'll become, of course, more complex. You need to bring things together. La pratica is important. Reading is important. Speaking in Italian, singing in Italian, doing sketches, anything to do with your practice. So if you're an English speaker, don't worry, it'll be fine. It's okay. If you want to follow my lessons, that will help you even with English. That's the way it is. Now, what's going on here? It's a bit dark. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Oh, here we are. There you are. Here I am again. Okay, well, we're approaching the 11:30 mark, so I thought I would go back to where we were last time, and we'll start with, of course, with the parts of speech, just as a reminder. And then today, I'll just be doing a few little experiments, so we'll see what happens. Okay, so let's go. Don't forget, the 2 songs are Pinocchio and Una spina e una rosa. Okay, here we go. Now, these are, if you remember, I put these 9 parts of speech on the board, and this time I thought I'd write them down. Here they are. There's the noun, article, and adjective, and then pronoun and verb, adverb, preposition, conjunction, exclamation, sometimes called interjections as well. So the first 5 parts of speech are variable parts. In other words, they change the endings, etc. And the second 4 parts of speech are invariable. So once you see it the way it is, that's it. It doesn't change. So with the 9 parts of speech, we start with the noun. Now, as I said to you, the noun is divided not only in Italian, but also in French and Spanish and the Latinic languages generally. The noun is always masculine or feminine, or it can be either masculine or feminine. And this applies to other languages as well. So, you know, because there is a world that is masculine and a world that is feminine. And, you know, sometimes the two are mixed together. So, but the noun is really all the words in a dictionary. All the singular words in a dictionary that end in O are masculine. All the singular words that end in A are feminine. And all the words that end in A in the singular can be either masculine or feminine. Now, of course, with the noun or anything else in grammar, there are exceptions. The exceptions will come later. At the beginning, we are doing the beginning part. So we're interested in the singular of nouns, all the words that you can look up in a dictionary. So that's important. That's very important. That's it, me. I thought I'd come back because, you know, after the noun, you want to see that we want to go somewhere else, and we're going to go to the noun and the plural of nouns. So you've looked up your words in a dictionary, they end in O, you want to make each one of them plural. So how do you do it? So the O changes to I, to I in Italian, the A changes to E, and the E changes to I. Now notice this, that the E plural of A and the E of singular, and this can be confusing. See these two? Those two there. See, you will get used to them as we move along. So once you know that a word is in A, the plural is in A. But when you get the word that ends in A in the singular, then that's a different, it's a different treatment. So having said that, we now go to also the indefinite article. Now, the definite article is the. The indefinite article in English is I or N. But in Italian, the indefinite article, and the indefinite article doesn't have, the un doesn't change. Una doesn't change, un apostrophe doesn't change. What happens is that the plural of a book, for example, is 2 books, 3 books. So it's the number, or some books. So that's the indefinite article. You can use them with words that basically are masculine, and this is what happens. Look at the examples. Un tavolo, un libro, un uomo. Notice that un uomo doesn't have anything, it's just un. But when you come to the feminine part, una lavagna, una porta, you have to write una luna, un apostrophe. The A drops because otherwise you get una alunna. So there are 2 A's, so they drop one and put a little apostrophe there. So that's called an apostrophe. So that's basically now the lesson in terms continues with we want to use the article and I or N article, and this is how it happens. The definite article is in Italian is il and lo, the, and also la and l'apostrophe in the singular. Notice that singular. When you want to make them plural, il changes to I, lo changes to li, la changes to le, l'apostrophe changes to le in the feminine. Now, what I've just shown you is the grammar. Is the grammar. And you say, why did you present us? You didn't even give us any examples. Now that's the grammar. That bit there does not change. It does not change. But there are examples that I'm going to show you I thought, how do I do this? I'll do it from the songs, because I want you to actually, Oopla. Here, my board is moving. So I want you to actually learn the songs and appreciate the fact that those songs there have got words. Now, let's say una spina e una rosa. Let's have a look. And I've only done this one here initially in the definite article. Here we go. Here we are. Words from songs, Carissimo Pinocchio, okay? Il desiderio. Now, there's no plural in the song. I'm just giving you the article and the word that appears in the song. Il desiderio, la sera, la lettera, l'amico, la primavera, il segreto, il bambino, il lettino, il mondo, il babbo. Notice this. Il gatto, il grillo, la fata, il giorno, il segreto, il cuore. Now those are the words. Now I'm going to pick up the song which I've sung a few times now in my other hours when I do the history on Thursdays and Dante on Sundays. Lettera a Pinocchio. So here we go. I'm going to read it first. Ho tanto desiderio, sì? Il desiderio, questa sera, la sera, sì? Di scrivere una lettera, indefinite article, a qualcuno e fra gli amici, amico is singular, gli amici is plural, della primavera, but technically that's la primavera, that's a word, al mio più caro amico. Now, here, what happens is that they introduce also the adjectives. So, mio amico, caro amico, they are, mio caro, are adjectives. Scriverò, carissimo Pinocchio, amico dei giorni più lieti, l'amico, again, di tutti i miei segreti, il segreto, i segreti, i miei segreti, there is the adjective, che confidavo a te, carissimo Pinocchio, ricordi quand'ero bambino. So it's il bambino, if you want, you use the word. Nel bianco mio lettino, lettino is small for letto, il letto is the bed, il lettino is the small bed. Mio lettino, see? Mio lettino, there is an adjective there. It's a possessive adjective. I'll come to this later. Ti sfogliai, ti parlai, ti sognai. Dove sei? Ti vorrei veder. Del tuo mondo vorrei saper. Forse babbo, see? There are two words. Il mondo is the world. Tuo mondo, your world. Forse babbo, it's il babbo, is the father. Il babbo Geppetto. Padre is another word for father, but babbo is used in some regions of Italy and in Italian as well. Il babbo Geppetto è con te. Dov'è il gatto? Il gatto che ti ingannò? Il buon grillo. So yeah, il grillo is, and then buon is buono should be. Il buon, but again, there are some rules about, some words drop the endings in songs and in poetry. Che ti parlò? E la fata, turchina is her name, but it's also turquoise. It means, it's a color as well. La fata turchina. Dov'è? Because she was dressed that way. Carissimo Pinocchio, amico, comes again, giorni più lieti. Notice, giorni più lieti. Lieti this time comes after because there's più, it's an adjective. Generally, the adjectives come before the noun, but sometimes they come after. So you learn this as you go along. Con tutti i miei segreti resti ancora nel mio cuore. Nel mio cuore should be mio cuore come allora. So that's the song. Now, I've read it and I've analysed it, and here we go again. Have a look at the words. The definite article, see? Il desiderio. In the plural, you would change it to I desideri. Notice there's desiderio, R-I-O. Sometimes it actually ends, in I, R-I-I, but in this case, I desideri. Notice that. That's a little exception there that again will become very easy for you to appreciate as you go along in the learning of the language. La sera becomes le sere. La lettera becomes le lettere. L'amico becomes gli amici. See, we saw that in the actual song, gli amici. La primavera, le primavere. Il segreto, i segreti. Il lettino, i lettini. Il mondo, i mondi. Il babbo, i babbi. Notice that. Notice how the plural changes. That rule that we had before, all the words that you'll ever meet in your reading, and even when people speak, all those words there can be put into the plural. And once we start writing little sentences, this becomes very important. So, carissimo Pinocchio continues. Il gatto, notice il gatto, you want more than one cat? Then you say I gatti. Il grillo, well, anyway, it doesn't matter. Il grillo, I grilli. La fata, the fairy, le fate. Il giorno, i giorni. Il segreto, i segreti. Il cuore, i cuori. You get the gist of that, don't you? You get the gist of the importance of that rule that we said before, the rule about the noun endings and then the endings in the plural. That's for this. But let's say you want to change this one here, il desiderio, rather than the desire or the evening, you want to say I desire an evening, a letter. Then you would change, instead of il desiderio, you would say un desiderio, una sera, una lettera, un amico, but there's no apostrophe there because amico is masculine. Una primavera, un segreto, un bambino, un lettino, un mondo, un babbo. Notice here, un gatto, un grillo, una fata, un giorno, un segreto, un cuore. Okay? So I've given you that. Now, you've studied the song, and this is where the song is. Here, I've got it in front of me. So if you had a copy of, and you can go to your, on your phone, not now whilst you're watching me, but you can go on the phone, and if you've got a printer with your computer, you can actually, get the words in front of you, and that will help you follow my lessons a lot better. And also when you want to revise these letters here, you can do that later on, and you can pick up, this work doesn't stop. This is a lifetime, it's something you take on. It's like with a great friendship, you don't drop anyone, you just keep going. You keep going with things. And this is what happens with language. So you want to see how I'm going to do Lettera Pinocchio? Now, you could sing this. If you're a singer and you are following me with my lessons, you will improve your singing as well. So, then if you put music to it, well, you get the whole... And if you want to listen to the music, Lettera Pinocchio, you go to your YouTube channel and you write down Lettera Pinocchio, and there are a number of singers who sing it, including Teddy Reno. So you learn about who sang it, who wrote it, and all that. So, you can see with one little song, you can talk about for a long time, a whole quarter of an hour, in fact. And here we go. Ho tanto desiderio questa sera. See, I can't, when you try to do this, the first part, la prima strofa, could be sung. ho tanto desiderio. But really, if you read it better, if you read it, when you're playing for a whole lot of people in front of you, you can say, ho tanto desiderio questa sera di scrivere una lettera a qualcuno e fra gli amici della primavera al mio più caro amico scriverò. And you could have someone else reading that like I have. And then it starts, il ritornello. Carissimo Pinocchio, amico dei giorni più lieti, di tutti i miei segreti che confidavo a te. Carissimo Pinocchio, ricordi quand'ero bambino, nel bianco mio lettino ti sfogliai, ti parlai, ti sognai. Dove sei? Ti vorrei veder, del tuo mondo vorrei saper, forse babbo Geppetto è con te. Dov'è il gatto che ti ingannò, il buon grillo che ti parlò, e la fata turchina dov'è? Carissimo Pinocchio, amico dei giorni più lieti, con tutti i miei segreti, resti ancora nel mio cuore come allora. Now, you've sung the song to yourself. You've listened to other people. And then, if you were in theatre, they do all sorts of things. You have to interpret. You have to get into the child's mind and state of mind to, when you remember this letter a Pinocchio, you have to sort of almost be there. I have this great desire to write a letter to someone, and amongst my friends in the spring of my days, nella mia primavera. So primavera, spring is used to say in my youth. So the guy is old. A mio più caro amico scriverò. Pinocchio has remained a best friend even when you get older. And then you say, carissimo Pinocchio. Or you could just say, carissimo Pinocchio, amico dei giorni più lieti, di tutti i miei segreti che confidavo. So you can actually, with words, and that's where the interpretation of these things are important. So that's where theatre comes in. That's where the sketches come in. So if you want to learn a language, that's what you need to do. Now I'm going to maybe just have another quick look at the plural, or let's go back, because I want to show you just a few of the examples of the adjective, because I've put it here. Where are we? Here. I've got the adjective in front of me, and I'm going to show you that from that particular song, you also got the adjectives there. Here we are. Oop. Here we are. Examples. And carissimo Pinocchio. Questa notte, quest'ora, la prima volta, questa canzone, questa, they're called demonstrative adjectives. They're simple adjectives, and then there are also other types of adjectives. Questa sera, al mio più caro amico. See, caro amico. Caro is a simple adjective, but if you put mio then becomes possessive. It's my best friend. And più, it's more than one. It increases the level of al mio, the level of love that you have for that person. Dei giorni più lieti. In this case, notice lieti is actually my happy days. It comes after giorni. So in other words, the rule is always before, but grammar then can change, and the language, that's what allows you. So I miei segreti, see? Nel bianco mio lettino, del tuo mondo, il buon grillo. Why not buono grillo? Because in Italian, buon grillo sounds better. La fata turchina, mio cuore, it says, but it should be mio cuore. I like to drop the E sometimes when I write my poetry. So what I'm saying here is that the adjectives, they behave like the words themselves. Okay, so the adjectives can be in two ways. You can have an adjective, and I will show you this as we go on. You can have an adjective, a simple adjective, that is masculine. So the masculine words will take the masculine, the masculine adjective. The feminine words need the feminine adjective. And then you get, for example, la buona madre, la madre buona. Madre ends in E, but it's singular. So therefore, buona has to be singular. So what I'm saying here, if it sounds confusing, it can be, because there's a lot to learn. And in order for you to learn this, I need from you, if you are one of my, you want to be one of my students, I need from you to contact me and say, okay, I want to learn this. I have difficulties with this particular lesson here. That's what we did last year, the last program. See that? I've got it on top. And then as we move along and we get to know each other better, because, not many people will want to stay and listen to Tom Padula going through technical things, and I don't get any interruptions because I'm not in a class. So I can actually do my work very well this way. Okay, so look at that. Il gatto, I gatti, and then I said un gatto. Notice I did that last week. I began there last week and I showed you how it works. And, it's important. Now, I'll get my pen again, because la sorella becomes, hold on. I can't do too many things at the same time. Oh, well, never mind. Just 1 second, please. Just 1 second. Here we go. Yeah. Here we go. Okay. See, I was going to open one of these and it wouldn't come. It's a simple thing like that. And, when you're doing things alive, that's what can happen. But let's have a look now at what you can do. See, la sorella, you want to sorella, you want to write a sister. You say una sorella. Una donna, una penna. Notice that. And una madre, una lavagna, una madre. Notice that, una madre. See? And this word here ends in e, these other ones end in. But il padre it's plural, it's masculine. So you get un padre. Now, studente, words that end in st or gn, and I haven't explained this, they are special words. Studente can't take il, it takes lo. Lo studente, and the lo in the indefinite article becomes uno studente. Lo studente, uno studente. But il professore, you go back to un professore. So notice what's happened there. Words that end, that are in, they've got an S plus a consonant, they take lo. So there's a category of words that are specific to, and the plural of lo, hoopla, that's good. I've just learned how to do something else. There we are. Is the plural of lo is gli. There it is, gli studenti. So the plural of lo is gli. If you remember that. Now, you have to remember, don't forget, you've got to remember the article, the indefinite article, the definite article, and the ending of words. So that's basically the lesson that's the lesson today. It's a big lesson to follow, because you have to learn those particular items of grammar. Now, but a lesson doesn't have to be all grammar. You can also have references to other things. And I want to enjoy myself now and say, okay, what do I do now? There is also another song that we did last time, and some of the words are here. It's called Una spina e una rosa, and I said I would promise that I would go through that last time. See, una spina e una rosa goes something, well, I'll read it. Domani è festa, questa notte si va a letto tardi, resta con me. A quest'ora, we met ora already, festa, la notte, notice that, il letto. So domani è festa, questa notte si va a letto tardi. So festa, notte, letto are words, are nouns. A quest'ora è un peccato lasciarci, ora is a noun. Peccato, sin, is a noun. Balliamo ancora come se fosse la prima volta, the first time. The adjective prima comes before volta, la volta, the time. Questo amore che deve finire. Questo amore is love, but questo is a demonstrative adjective. Questo, this one, it's called demonstrative. So those are the technical words if you want to follow grammar, you have to learn the technical words. When you go to the dentist, he talks to his helper and says, give me that needle. And they've got specific words, specialist language. So grammar has specialist language. You have to learn a little bit of it. It helps if you're a driver of a car to know what a motor is, or where the other parts are called. You don't have to actually fix them up, but at least you know what they're called. In Italian, la frizione. I always forget in English, because then when you've got two languages, you remember one, you don't remember the other one. But you've got to forgive yourself, because say, oh well, at least I know one. Well, you've got only one language and you forget. You can't go to the other language, can you? Okay, let's go on. Come se fosse la prima. Questo amore che non può morire stanotte con te. Non può morire. Okay? Cannot die. Stanotte, questa notte. Stanotte is, it's put together. It's actually a word. I've never heard of la stanotte. Never. But stanotte is just, you've got to check it out whether that's a word or it's an adjective, or it's an adverb, whatever. Ai. Now, ai there, that's the last part. You remember the exclamations and interjections. Ai is the 9th part of speech. There you are. Una gioia, a joy, un dolore, a pain. Mi dai una spina, a thorn, e una rosa, a rose. Ai, a ballare, balliamo. They are the verbs. I haven't even mentioned them up to now. A quest'ora, is, with an accent, is a verb. And that's got the whole, it's a very, not complex. There's a lot to learn when you're doing the verb, and we'll come to that. So if you stick it out with me, and if you let me know that you are following me and you want to learn Italian, or you want to improve your Italian, then I can communicate with you. So because, I worked it out, this can be a pretty lonely job if nobody follows you. So I thought, but if you follow, the lessons are free, and I'm willing to communicate with a number of students. Depends on how we go. So I need people who want to learn Italian. You can do it with me here, but you'll need some resources. You can come to me. I can provide. There again, a lot of, and you can also access your old Italian books from school. you'll just let me know which one it is, and I'll be able to refer to it. Say, do this chapter, do that chapter, this, so you can you know what to do. So your old school books are always important because they are the first elements that you learn in particular subject areas, and language is one of those. And if I will also when I feel I've got a few students, and we can talk language, I can go into French and Spanish, because the same rules that I've explained to you in Italian apply to French and Spanish. I've checked them out, but they have different articles. Instead of il, the Spanish got el, and the French got le. So what I'm saying is that the idea is the same. The language mode, the language is the same. The idea of language is the same, but the manifestation of that language is different according to each language. And that's where then the details, they say the devil is in the details. And with languages, unfortunately, that's very true. Okay, let's go on. Una gioia e un dolore mi dai, una spina e una rosa, ai ai ai, ballare di notte con te, ma una notte così vale più della vita di un re. So, una notte, la vita, sì, della vita, la vita, un re, a king, del domani, non mi importa niente, voglio morire stanotte con te. Nothing there. Questa canzone, there it is, another demonstrative adjective. Questa canzone è la storia, is in other words, di due innamorati. See? Un innamorato is one, due innamorati goes to plural, and you got the number in front of it. So it makes it plural. Che come noi is a pronoun. There's no name there. Noi, it's us. Noi, we. We is a pronoun. It's called a personal pronoun. Again, the words, the way you refer to these things grammatically is important to learn the ways, those ways. So your old grammar books, or even communicative books, whatever Italian books that you've had to learn Italian, they come handy. They're all good. Tutte le strade portano a Roma. All the roads lead to Rome. Ma tutti I voli portano a Melbourne. But all the flights come to Melbourne. Oh well. Now, questa canzone è la storia di due innamorati che come noi si lasciano, sono perduti. Che come noi, again the pronoun, si lasciano is a verb. Sono perduti, another verb, one after the other. They need explanations, these things. Balliamo, that's a good one. It's a present tense. Now, I haven't mentioned these things before, but these are the verb. That's the verb, balliamo. Come se fosse. Fosse is a verb as well. La prima volta. Questo che deve finire. Deve is a verb. Finire is a verb. Deve is a present tense. Finire is an infinitive tense. So in other words, can you see, I will come, questa notte siamo così. I'll come to this, to these parts all the time. Okay, there you are. Noun, article, adjective, pronoun, verb. I've mentioned adverb. I haven't mentioned preposition or conjunction today, but I've mentioned exclamation. So as we move along, we do this. Now, if you have una spina e una rosa, and you would like a copy, you don't have it, and you have you have your email. If you become one of my students, let's say, I can then send you via email your song, the song that we do each week, or whatever, because I'm going to use these songs here plus the sketches, and I'm not going to use the usual way of doing it with a textbook, although I believe in textbooks, because for people who don't know this technical part very well, it's very important to follow a textbook so that you can learn what you're going to teach. And that's what a lot of teachers do until they know it. So when you know it, you don't need to look up a lot of things. For example, for history, I've got to look up a few things. And sometimes, you don't have the information. And the same with Dante. You need the information in order to be able to present your material. So, let's say Una spina una rosa. Let's sing it. This time here, there's no reading. You go straight into it. Domani è festa, questa notte si va a letto tardi. Resta con me, a quest'ora è un peccato lasciarci. Balliamo ancora, come se fosse la prima volta. Questo amore che deve finire, non può morire stanotte così. Ai ai ai, una gioia, un dolore mi dai, una spina e una rosa. Ai ai ai, a ballare di notte con te quanto è pericoloso. Ma una notte così vale più della vita di un re. Del domani non mi importa niente, voglio morire stanotte con te. Questa canzone è la storia di due innamorati che come noi se si lasciano sono perduti. Balliamo ancora come se fosse la prima volta. Questo amore che deve finire non può morire stanotte così. Well, my friend Stephen Ross Ferraro sings it on his evenings on on Facebook Live. He does it as well, and I do 3 a week. He does a couple of times, or even 3 whenever he feels like it. So if you follow Stephen Ross Ferraro, well, he's got last week he got 1,000 views. I get half a dozen if I'm lucky. So because the problem with learning in general, that can look boring, but once you get into it, it actually becomes very a real asset to you if you actually learn it. You can listen to the same songs, many times, but that's it. That's the song. And a lot of times, and I'm guilty of that. I listen to many songs. I've never learned the words, never. It's only the last few years, last 2 years really. Before that, oh yeah, c'è la musica, that's it. If you go to a restaurant all the time, they cook and you eat. But once you start learning how to cook, how to buy food, what to buy, the fact that things go, how to put them in the fridge, it's a whole lifestyle. Now, if you are involved in just that, you can't do all other things that you would like to do. Like, you want to spend all night out dancing, let's say, and in the morning you're tired, so you get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and you've been drinking and you want to do that the next night and the next night. Well, that's your, that is your grammar and practice. You know exactly what to do when, when to go there. A lot of people do this. They get into whatever they're doing and becomes their full-time job. So balancing these interests, important. Now I've just noticed here, Archie, hi, Angela, and Curtis. Thank you very much. Maria Brancolino. Grazie Maria. Importante per te di farlo sapere agli altri che faccio il Dante, faccio la storia, world history e le lezioni di italiano free of charge. And I don't want people not to have students, of course they will. But what I'm doing now can also be applied to, in classes as well. You can't always review these things with your teacher, but your teacher is important because, it's a personal contact. And by the way, I actually, I've just remembered, I want to read you a poem of mine because I saw it the other day, and I thought, no, I've got to do this. If I can find my book, I'll be able to read it. Scuola TV, it's called. Scuola TV, where are my books now? When you're looking for something, you never find them. Never mind. Well, it's not here. Oh, well, we'll have to wait another time, my dear girls and boys. Okay, well, that's where we're at the moment. Now, should I will go over what I was doing before with the word. Here, we go again, okay? Let's very quick this time. Here you are, the noun. O, a, e, masculine, feminine. Noun, plural. O changes to e, a to e to e. Article. There you are, the indefinite article. The plural of indefinite articles are the numbers, or some, or any. That'll come later. Examples, un tavolo, un libro, un uomo. There's no apostrophe in un uomo because uomo is masculine. But una luna, yes, there is an apostrophe. So a lot of people, when they learn, they will put an apostrophe in un uomo, and then they wonder why the teacher marks it wrong. You know, you have to learn these things. Article, il, lo, la, and L apostrophe, il, lo. Well, guess what? I've missed one. I've just realized that after the law, there's L apostrophe as well. Law changes to L apostrophe as well. So I've got to add this on. See that? Now I'll do that straight away. I'll show you. And that's what happens in teaching too. When you're teaching, you can't get everything right straight away, then you correct yourself. And the mistakes I make, it's not that I don't know, it's just that here, L apostrophe. And I got to give one example, l'alunno. Because it would be lo alunno. The alunno starts with a vowel. So, because it starts with a vowel, there you are, and we fix it up, and now I'll be able to show you. There it is, there. I've just added it on, see? Il, lo, L apostrophe, and then la and L apostrophe. So, lo, if it finds a word that begins with I, has to, well, you can't say lo alunno, although you can, but l'alunno is it. So it's il, lo, L apostrophe, masculine, la, L apostrophe. Now, if it's taken us a couple of lessons to learn this, and for me to bring my knowledge up to date, so be it. That's the way it is. So the mistakes are not always bad. They're actually very good because they make you realize that you need to revise things from time to time. And my lessons will not be any different. You know, this week I've concentrated on the noun and the article. You don't expect me now next week to do the same thing. I will concentrate again next week. I'll pick up another couple of songs that I will choose, and I've got plenty of them. And from my programs, on Thursday night I do world history, the first half hour, and then I go to Australian history, and then I do the lyrics of songs. So I actually sing and present the lyrics. That's it. And that's, you know, just for a bit of entertainment. On Sundays, I read Dante, and this Sunday coming will be number 9, Canto 9. So, Maria, let people know that Cantos 1 to 8 have been done by Tom Padula on Sundays, and they are available on my Facebook page. And the first 4 of them, the first 4 canti are put on the blog on the Insegna.com. If you go to Insegna.com blog, you will find under there, that's World History, just the first lesson is on, and the 4 lessons or presentations, you know, of the Dante programs. And I'll be putting these ones up as well. Again, because I'm on my own, I don't have a lot of help, etc. Everything's slow, and you know, I depend on others, and that's the way life is. So that's important. Now, if you want to organise yourself for the learning of Italian through my program here, contact me via email, TomPadulaTV@gmail.com. Say, I'm interested in your classes on Tuesdays from 11:25 to 12:30, and how can I help you? Tell me a bit about how much Italian you know, whether you're a beginner, you're middle of the way, intermediate, or advanced. I can provide the material that you need, or I can suggest what you can use. If you already got these things at home, so be it. You don't have to, if you don't want to spend money, you don't have to spend anything. You can just, a lot of pandemic has taught us really that we have an obligation towards each other. And in the things that are not popular, well, you have to help them along. And I think that's the secret of my freedom over more than 50 years of, doing this sort of work. It's actually, I don't want to say it, it's about 55. It's a long time that you are involved in these things here. But what's important really is that if you can be a professional and you can find jobs teaching, etc. Because teaching is not about the subject, believe it or not, area. Although you get qualified for subject areas, I'm qualified Italian, French, a history teacher from Melbourne Uni. But the history was the sub-major. The other two were majors with honours. But what I'm saying is, and philosophy. But what I'm trying to say, and a bit of law, but the actual professional comes when you get paid for what you do. So if you're a singer and, you're worried about Tom Padula singing the song, don't worry about it. I'm not going to go out there sing. It's not my, I haven't done it. I'm not interested. I used to do Master of Ceremonies work, and that was in my area. But if I wanted to sing, I would have done it a long time ago as well. But that's probably because I didn't have the confidence and the opportunity. So the opportunities and the confidence for the learning of Italian will come to you if you're really looking for that opportunity. So if your Italian is halfway, intermediate, and you want to go back to Italy, you want to study, you want to practice, well, one of the best ways of doing it is doing theatre. I've been involved for theatre for a long time, and I can tell you that it's even better than going to Italy. So if you have a group of people that you can, you can convince to do those sketches with you or to do a play, it becomes more than just, a superficial coverage of these things. You have to go into it. So this is only a start. I'm very happy that today I've got a couple of people listening in, and I'm, very, very grateful to you because you obviously are interested in, in the language, or you've known me for a long time, you're curious, whatever it is. It's, the work cannot stop here. The work keeps going. So next week I will look into the adjectives a lot more. So when I present the songs or whatever, I will look for the adjectives so that you'll be able to see how the adjectives works. And also I'll try to make references to you to bring in the 9 parts of speech as I speak. And I say, all right, this one here is the verb, that one is the preposition, that one is this. I won't explain it then. The explanations will come later. Like when you get a grammar book. A grammar book goes from beginning to end, and it keeps on going. And people find it pretty heavy going. So nothing that I do is not heavy going. But this one here is easy going. It's called Giovanni Studia, and this is from Commedia per Principianti. I recommend this particular booklet and other similar ones that I've got where you've got sketches. You can create your own sketches as well, but they are already here, like a song. The song is already there. One thing writing it, and another thing is, you know, having to create it. Or when someone else has done it, it's much easier. Quando vai al ristorante, ordini e ti portano da mangiare, subito, se sono bravi. Ok, Giovanni studia. There's Giovanni, Mario, Alfredo, Anna, Carlo, il postino. I think I've read this before in my other program. So maybe I won't read Giovanni studia. Let me see if I've got another one that I haven't done before. La telefonata I've done as well in my other ones. But I'll come back to this and I'll use the material. This is called la colazione. La colazione, have I done this one? I'm not sure. La colazione. Oh yeah, yes, I've done it with Papa. Yes, now, this one here I haven't done. La pasta, butta la pasta. Again, I've done this one too. Mannaggia. Come on, Tom, find one that you haven't done. Una sera in discoteca. I haven't done this one. This one is Giorgio, Anna, Alberto, Maria, all wearing disco-type clothing. Il signor beneducato, suit and tie, faccia dura, il grillo, gli angeli della moto, t-shirts, leather jackets and pants, boots, etc. So faccia dura and il grigio, there are two other characters. Settings outside house and then at the discoteca. Okay. Una sera in discoteca. Giorgio says, Anna, andiamo, è tardi. Anna says, sono pronta, arrivo. Giorgio, dove sono Alberto e Maria? Anna, arrivano presto. Oh, eccoli. Alberto e Maria, ciao ragazzi, come state? Giorgio, bene, grazie, e voi? Maria, benissimo, allora andiamo? Tutti, everyone, sì, andiamo. Mr. Beneducato sees them to the door. Must be the parent. Beneducato, nice name. Signor Beneducato, ragazzi, tornate a casa presto. What would a parent do or someone who looks after you? Come back early. Alberto, certo, signor Beneducato. Of course. He's a liar, this one here, Alberto. Signor Beneducato, attendi agli angeli della moto. Watch it. Angels. Angeli della moto, ok. Giorgio, noi non abbiamo paura, non è vero Alberto? Chi, noi? Ma no, assolutamente no. Signor Beneducato, niente guai, se no a casa facciamo i conti. So, if they're in trouble, how can you do i conti? You're going to help them. Sì, sì, buonasera. Tutti. They go away. The four friends leave and get to the discotheque. They can hear the music from outside. Che bella musica, ragazzi! Oh. Sì, è bella, è la New Wave Music. Sì, e come si chiama il complesso? Il complesso si chiama Stella Lucente. Then they enter the dance venue. Shining Star. Anna, balliamo, Giorgio? Sì, volentieri. While dancing, they bump into a bikie called Il Grigio. So he's a bikie. Attento, stupido. Alberto says, scusami. Another bikie arrives and picks on Alberto. Faccia dura, his name is. Hard face. Chi è questa signorina? He refers to him as a signorina. Alberto, io non sono una signorina. He tries to be tough. Faccia dura, sarcastically. Io non sono una signorina. A group of onlookers is forming around Alberto, who is looking very worried. Allora, chi è una signorina? Faccia dura. Alberto, friends come to the rescue. Cosa succede, says Giorgio. Allora, chi è una signorina? Alberto, io no, di certo. This the guy was going very tough, huh? Looking very tough. Cosa? No. Faccia dura, no. Very tough indeed. Ripeto, chi è una signorina? Alberto is stuck for words. The tension is mounting until Anna breaks the silence. Io sono una signorina. E adesso finiamola. Everyone laughs. Breaking the tension, Anna and friends escort Alberto out of the venue as fast as they can, just in case Faccia dura changes his mood. So the girl saves him. No fighting. They can go home. And what did they say to Mr. Beneducato? Now, what do you do with this? You obviously can translate it. You can use the words here to identify what we've done today. You can use the words, for example, andiamo, è tardi, sono pronta, sì, sono pronta, that's an adjective. Arrivo is a verb, dove sono is a verb. Alberto and Maria, they are nouns as well, but they are nouns of names, so they're proper nouns. So they've got a different grammatical title. Ciao ragazzi, il ragazzo, i ragazzi, plural, see? Come state, it's a verb. Bene, grazie, voi, we're going into that bene, grazie, so you're looking at the adverbs here. Okay, e voi is a pronoun, there's no name there. Benissimo, bene, benissimo, superlative, very, very well, you know. Allora andiamo is a verb, sì andiamo, and andiamo is a verb andare, and it's an irregular verb. So even with the verbs you get irregularities. So that's the important part. Chi noi, and you get niente guai, see the adverb comes in, se no, so you get, you know, that se acts like a conjunction, so it gets the two phrases together. You can put a punto virgola, but that se no, that se in that particular case is a conjunction. Se no, a casa facciamo i conti, il conto, the bill, you know, I'll deal with you sort of thing. It changes, even the il conto refers to when you buy something, but also I'll deal with you. So it's got another meaning. So again, language is an important science, but it's also an art. It's the art and the science of language. I should say it's the science and the art of language. So someone who knows the science very well, like, you know, people don't speak Italian very well, but who've learned. I remember one particular professor at university, when I went into his class and I heard that he didn't say his words properly according to proper pronunciation. Again, I didn't introduce this one, phonologia, you know, phonology. So in other words, the way you pronounce words. And Italians have got, you know, what you see is what you get. It's a language that it's easily read. But when somebody doesn't pronounce it properly, then you say, oh, ma quello là non sa parlare l'italiano. But he's a professor. He knows more than you, except he doesn't pronounce it very well. And then another one said to me, Tom, you know, when I was saying, because my English is learned, I was 15 when I got here. And in the morning when I'm stressed out, etc., depending on the word, sometimes I sound Italian. Can't help myself. But somebody said to me, you know, that's your attraction, Tom, because you weren't born here and you've learned English. Gee, must be pretty tough. You've done a good job. So in other words, if you learn the other language properly to the level of expertise required by native speakers, wow, that's a real achievement. Then if you can just leave it there, or you can start using it to teach, you can sing, you can do this, you can act as an interpreter, a translator, you can be very useful in large companies. In my time, I actually did a bit of interpreting and translating, and one time I had to translate poisons. So you got to find out what you got to do. So the lesson came to an end, but I want to live with a baby. I also translated baby formula instructions. And the doctor said, watch it, Tom, you can kill somebody if you don't translate it properly. So knowing what you know is important. And I hope that today hasn't been too heavy for you. I've enjoyed it immensely, but I'm looking forward to future classes and especially to people coming on to me and saying, gee, I want to learn Italian. Yes, Tom, I can be one of your students online, and here is my email, and I'll list and I'll tell you next week how many people actually have become my students because I've done, this is my third lesson. It's free of charge. You can use you can use what I've got here on live on Facebook over and over again. Just become my friend and you can access it. Okay, grazie mille. Today's been quite interesting. Now for lunch and then to watch the cup. So have a good win. I'm going to ring my son now to put some bets for me. Ciao, arrivederci. Alla prossima. Grazie a tutti. Thank you, Francis, as well. And okay, ciao. There we are. Finish.